Yo, boys, SPL Season 3 is here, man. We got a VGC Draft League this time around with the Toronto Tyrants making a return in Season 3, man. I'm excited about this. I've actually been traveling and going to many VGC regionals since summer of 2023. So just going to throw that out there now. I do have a decent amount of experience. I'm not going to this fully blind. I've been playing VGC, honestly, arguably as much as Draft for the last, at this point, almost 2 years. I've gone positive at my very first VGC regional, and I even did side cup tournaments where they're like flexing tournaments. Like they're like off-brand tournaments and you flex and you pull up and it's fun. So leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Here's the team, man. I'm feeling very good about this team. I did have a lot of help from a lot of good homies. Honestly, shout out my guy, Brian, man. He's just incredible at this game, man, and he helped me out, honestly, throughout almost everything here. So he's been a real homie about that, so big love, big love. Shout out to my friend Liv as well, too. Y'all know who you are. You know. Let's jump in. First, man, I had to get Iron Hands. I wasn't in the best spot to get a Pokemon. If anything, I was in 12th out of 20 coaches, and that is right in the middle, around the middle. It is a really unfortunate spot to be in. I feel like I'm in a bad spot, all these guys, right? Like, I don't think I've ever really been... I think there was one draft league, and that's why I was so good, the team that I had, where I was, like, I think, like, third or second or something like that. So, yeah. Otherwise, I was not in the best spot, but I did get Iron Hands. I was surprised that it came back to me, but there's some crazy stuff allowed, like Chimpow, Raging Bolt, or both are Shifus, Flutter Mane, right? Incineroar, I think, all these guys. So there was a ton of, like, crazy guys that were allowed like before me, so I absolutely understand. But I think Iron Hands. Iron Hands is a phenomenal beast mode mon, right? Literally one of the greatest mons I would actually say that comes out of Gen 9. Probably one of my favorite mons out of Gen 9. I am actually currently on propaganda right now. So this mon is at least more fun to use than Raging Bolt when it comes to singles draft. Singles draft in VGC, Raging Bolt is king. He was the highest point-tiered mon up there with other guys. So Raging Bolt is king. But I got Iron Hands. Never dies hands. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie hands. Really excited about this. Honestly, not much to say. Iron Hands is a very straightforward mon. He's very, very, in terms of like understanding like what he does, he's very tanky. He's very good at like wall breaking, revenging, being a tank, sponging hits, like wearing things down. Like it's Iron Hands o'clock, baby. And if you're wondering, his Italian name is Mano Ferreira. So, which means hands ironed or something like that. So it is literally Iron Hands in Italian. So shut that out. Second mon! We got Big Torkoal, baby. We got Big Torkoal, man. I was really kind of hoping to get something crazy. But you know what it is. Torkoal's still great. I wanted to kind of try and use weather this time around. I've never really used weather in God knows, in like over a year. The most amount of weather I've used is sand and snow. I know I just had Abomasnow in the Ubers League, but that wasn't really a snow team. Abomasnow is kind of more like a Klefki Grimstar mod when like you don't really build around him. You kind of build around the Veil. You know what I mean? So we got Big Torque. I mean, this mod is phenomenal, right? It's got Eruption. It does absolutely massive power. It has Heat Wave, right? It does get Earth power now, which is phenomenal. It's just a strong mon, dude. I mean, right? It's just, again, another straightforward VGC mon. Didn't need to get a Sun Abuser, though. We got big Hisuian Lilligant. I love this thing, by the way. I love it. She looks gorgeous in this game, does she not? I think Hisuian Lilligant has definitely grown for me. I loved her a lot when she first came out, but I kind of fell out of love because in Scarlet and Violet, the Hustle build was probably the best build with Tera to Victory Dance. Tera into some defensive, live a hit, Victory Dance, and then Hope. Massive Hopium mon. But I can actually afford to use Chlorophyll a lot on this little girly. Really excited to get her. An absolutely phenomenal mon, man. Triple Axle, Close Combat, Victory Dance, Solar Blade, right? Like Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder is huge on this mon, dude, right? She even gets to move after you. So I move so fast in the sun that my hands can move faster with after you. It's phenomenal, dude, right? Just really happy that I got the thing. It's a cool sun abuser. I don't want to do too many weather abusers, but it's VGC. That like it's a lot more like I would say in my honest opinion, like less linear in VGC, in my honest opinion. And my VGC, like obviously I'm much better at singles. I have much more experience in singles, but in VGC I still you know, it's not like coming from a singles player, it's not like ultimate night and day, like, you know this thing double speed in whether it's singles or doubles, right? You know Torkoal puts up Sun, whether it's singles or doubles. Whether it's single or doubles, you know Iron Hands is absolutely massive. Like, he does not die. He's bigger than the low tier Fade Meat. Like, he doesn't die. You know what I mean? So, if it helps anybody who like watches and plays singles, like, it is like the information you do get is transferable. They just use moves that you would get rid of in your playthrough. Like, you would get rid of Helping Hand, and you would get rid of like After You, and like, I don't even know, like Protect. You know what I mean? Like, you would not use this move in a randomized when I was like an Emerald, but you wouldn't VGC. You would. Again, another straightforward Mon. She just runs fast. Like I said, with everything that I just named, she runs fast. Had to get something tanky though. Got Pig Porygon 2, man. Really happy that he's on the team. Porygon 2, literally one of the fattest Mons in VGC, dude. Really happy about this pickup. It was supposed to be for Farigiraf. Much earlier on, I was supposed to have Farigiraf. It literally would have been a hope and a dream if I got Farigiraf. This team should have looked entirely different. Like, I should have gotten, like, Ursaluna and Farigiraf after Hands, which, I mean, they talk about that greed in the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, that is biblically accurate greed. Because no way I was going to get Hands, Farigiraf, and Ursaluna, whether Blood Moon or not. No way. Right? Like, no way. Which Clover Bells was like, I think he's like bottom 3 in terms of the wheel pick. He's number 18 out of 20. So yeah, he got Blood Moon and Farigiraf. Perfect timeline, honestly. So not much to learn about that. But I got P2. Put up Trick Room. The biggest thing is Trick Room on my hands to move. And same my Torkoal. So I put up a Trick Room Mon. I think it's also phenomenal. It can foul play. It can Ice Beam. It can Raw Terra Blast pre-Terra. And it can turn to a defensive Terra and still Terra Blast. It's really tanky with a Violite, right? Like, it does so many things that I really want to see value off of. And I actually do think out of majority of the Mons here, it is one of the more valuable picks that I would say out of the entire roster. It was 16 points, which I thought for a Mon like this, definitely worth scooping up. But there's massive value with it though. But I do get it because if you knock off the Violite, well, you know. But even still, it's still really tanky. I'm really happy that I got this Mon. I am. It does still what I need to do. It can still work in that role that I wanted to try Farigiraf with, outside of freaking Armor Tail. But this is still pretty good. I like this a lot, and I'm very happy with this pickup. Yes, I did bring home the fraud, the Mon that I have openly, verbally smacked down the most out of when it comes to singles draft league. Walking Wake. Okay, let me tell you right now. When it comes to low tier Terra and us, like, I'm so glad we're done with low tier Terra. First off, I'm so glad when we come back to singles and even the last Ubers League, I'm so glad we're done with low tier Terra. Low tier Terra, for a player's experience, I'll talk about myself, it can get a bit like boring. Like, how many times are you gonna see, oh, why this guy popped off with, I don't even know, like Terra Chandelure or something stupid, you know what I mean? Like, I want a Terra on Annihilate. I want a Terra on Walking Wake. You know what I mean? Like, I want a Terra on these guys. So, and this is open Terra, by the way, guys. We do tell the opponents all the Terras of our Pokemon, but it's open Terra. It is open Terra. And there are no clauses. You can use 1 KO moves. You can do Snow Veil. Or Snow Cloak. You can do freaking Sand Veil. You can put everything to sleep if you wanted to, because that's all allowed in VGC. You could do Moody, all of it. It is all allowed in VGC. So, it's gonna be crazy gaming. It's gonna be crazy gaming. We got big Walking Wake. Really happy that I got this guy up. I feel like he's an absolute monster in the weather. I do feel like when people talk about Mons that are carried off weather for sure and Terra, definitely Wake. No weather and no Terra. This guy's kind of a fraud. But I was able to get this guy in weather. So really happy I was able to scoop this bad boy up. Again, does massive damage. There really isn't much to say. This guy, you run the exact same in doubles as you do singles. I think the only difference is you can actually option select Snarl. And obviously you could run Protect if you want to, but you would typically want to try and option select Snarl on this guy to try and reduce the enemy's power. Otherwise, no, he's ran the exact same. Like, you can go Booster, you can go Specs, you can go Scarf, you know what I mean? Like, you could just Weather Abuse, Hydro Steam, Draco, Flamethrower, right? Like, he's a self-explanatory mod. He's a very simple mod to understand. But I like Walking Wake. It is my favorite of the 3 when it comes to design-wise. It is my favorite of the 3. I do love the thing's design a lot. Now, whether I can get some value off it, we'll see. But I'm excited to use it. Had to get another defensive tank here. I wanted to get a follow me Pokemon here. And I was my number one choice for a follow me mon was indeed Clefable. So I'm happy that I brought Clefable home. I could have gotten Clefairy with Friend Guard, and then Iron Hands would have literally just been immortal. But I did want to get Clefable. I didn't want to like run a Violite. I wanted to be like tankier, right? I want immediate tankiness, right? I don't want like a second Violite. That's just preference. And Clefable gets a ton of cool stuff, man. So I'm really happy about this. Follow me mon is the best thing, right? That is the single best move in VGC. That it just is. It just is. If you play VGC, you probably knew that. And if you didn't, well, now you know. It is the single greatest mon. Redirection in VGC is absolutely horrifically broken. And I was able to get a really good one. I have Unaware on this guy as well, too. Dude, we have Magic Guard, Cute Charm, ton of cool stuff, dude. It's, again, not too different, right? You typically want to go, like, defensive, and you can go, like, Moonblast. You can go, like, even heal. It's a healing Wish mon as well, too. So I get a lot of value off all of that. She's tanky, she's lovable. I love me Clef. Fun fact, if you didn't know, this is the first mask I've ever had on this channel. If you're old enough to remember it, that was eons ago, but I love me some Clef. And this is when it was a normal type. It's because it was insane in like Gen 4, Gen 5, like low tiers. So I'm really happy I was able to scoop this bad boy up, man. It's a really strong mon. It's really tanky, and you know, we can do some cool stuff with redirection. Yes, we did scoop up big bad boy Charizard, dude. Yes, I've drafted Charizard. I've actually wanted to use Charizard in a low tier league, but better late than never. I did pick up Charizard. I really wanted to use Charizard. And if you're sitting down thinking, wow, Nexus, what a throw pick. Yeah, this mon won a regional. Yep, this mon won a regional. VGC is crazy, guys. I know in singles, Charizard has historically been terrible. Right? Like it's been downhill since Gen 3. He's been like not good. But yeah, in the double side, it definitely feels like, you know, the basically Pokemon's Golden Boy was built for doubles. Like he definitely feels like a mon that was built for doubles after I've watched those tournament games, used Charizard in VGC and singles and Smogon doubles. Like he definitely feels like, I mean, outside of the megas, but even then the megas, right? Like Megazard Y is insane, right? Like Self-Drought, Heat Wave, it's crazy. But Charizard, Solar Power, Heat Wave, hits absolutely stupid hard. It's a solid speed tier with a base 100 speed, and it gives you a ground immunity. I will not lose to ground. If you're sitting out thinking, wow, Stealth Rock, I'd be surprised if somebody brings Stealth Rock in VGC draft. Now, again, it is VGC draft, so some things are going to be a little different for sure. Like, yeah, somebody might actually bring Stealth Rock because Hazard is not really that massive in VGC. It is hardly ever seen. I'm not saying it's impossible. I've done my research. It's hardly ever seen, but it's not. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not impossible in the VGC draft league. But Charizard, solid speed tier, right? Ground immunity, and solar power. He hits absolutely stupid hard. Solar power, Terrifier, Heat Wave, even resisted stuff is going to be absolutely hurting, right? Slap a Life Orb on it, it's going to hurt even more. Or a Specs, it's going to be absolutely stupid damage. And that's what Charizard's kind of here for. He's here to try and potentially do some really cool wall breaking stuff. I do wish he had Tailwind. He does not have Tailwind, but it is what it is. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Charizard, still a great pick. Your boy had to give you some Malamar. Listen, you guys know I've drafted Malamar like 100 times, and either I drop him or he never gets used. I drop him or he never gets used. He literally never gets used or he's like dropped. So I'm happy I got Malamar though, right? It's a solid mon. I have a Trick Room varianted team. So I think Malamar in Trick Room with Contra is absolutely insane. We do also have Topsy-Turvy, his signature move, which inverts a target's stat changes. So yeah, that's nuts, man. Like this mon has a lot of really cool like niche potential when it comes here. Now, obviously, when it comes to most draft leagues, you are typically using your high point value Pokemon. Everything below that is for certain matchups, matchup dependent Pokemon or certain matchups. He does also get Trick Room as well too, and he also gets both Switcheroo and Trick. So there are some really cool things. I also get Taunt, I get Screens. Malamar can do a lot. Malamar can actually do a lot, dude. He is also able to get Expanding Force. Though the special attack set is 68 versus 92, self-boosting with contrary superpower, it can be quirky. That'd be insane. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm just naming out quirky stuff right now, right? But regardless though, no, Malamar is, I actually think this is a solid budget pick Pokemon, right? Like I was starting to use a ton of points here. Malamar is only 4 points. So for all the value that I just named off, for 4 points, I genuinely don't see anything wrong with, right? I guess typically there isn't any like two major ghost resists, but there aren't also two major like ghost Pokemon. I mean, I have an immunity, right? I have a normal, so I'm fine off that, right? I'm fine. We got big P2. We're fine. We're literally fine, right? But Malamar, hopefully he gets out the benchers this week, right, guys? He gives us the benchers. Had to scoop up big Bruxy. Dude, love me some Bruxy, man. Again, I have so many options for Trick Room. Number one, the thing actually does get Trick Room. If you did not know that, it actually does. Number two, Dazzling. I'm just completely immune to Fake Out. I'm entirely immune to Fake Out. If you guys did not know, the thing's signature ability is Dazzling. We don't use Dazzling that often in singles. We use Strong Jaw, but Dazzling is insane. Now, Strong Jaw is also viable as well, too, but the big key thing is Dazzling. I can be able to get off a Trick Room while dodging Fake Out, right? He does decent damage as well, too. He's got a solid speed tier of 92, man. Like, it's not a slow mon by any means at all, right? By any means at all. But the biggest thing on why I wanted to get this guy is because, again, another Trick Room user. It can break screens with Psychic Fangs, dude. Does have like speedy offensive taunt. So that's really interesting. The thing also gets Pain Split, which is weird. I'm like, I guess I get it. Right? I get it. But it gets like weird moves for sure. I think it's based off its lore. It's got like it's skin, right? It's probably hurts to the point where you can just, you know, let the enemy feel its pain. Super Fang, Psychic Fangs, and Trick Room is absolutely the best reasons as to why I did get this mon. I might think a little weird that I got a water Pokemon in a rain team, or a sun team. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't at all. The thing is mainly, like I said, here for Trick Room. It can Super Fang things, get them low to a point where like my guys don't really need to like set up. I don't really have like a lot of setup like on this team. It's just kind of like I'm not reliant off the weather, because it's absolutely not reliant on the weather at all. But it obviously, right, its biggest value is in the weather, right? That's just how weather teams work. Its biggest value is in the weather. But if you can draft a weather team that isn't only good in the weather, well, you're banging it. I don't think this team's only good in the weather, right? Like, well, I can make us boost your energy, soon Lilligant can victory dance, right? Like, we're good. Charizard is, well, on the benchers if the weather doesn't show up. You know what I mean? But Bruxish, again, brings what I needed to do. So I have so many options of Trick Roomers. We got about like, what, like 4 of them? 3 of them? Something like that? Like, it's crazy. And my last pick is Baby Flutter Mane, dude. Yes, we have Tangled Hair, right? We have Yippee-Ki-Yay strands. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of other Flutter Mane type of joint. Another Trick Room user. I know, man. I know, dude. I know. How many Trick Room users gonna get? So the Trick Room user, it's a ghost type. And it's floating. I felt as though as like ground spam could be pretty scary to me. I don't have a Charizard, but it is literally just Charizard. His Lilligant is sadly not a ground resist. I'm sorry, it's frail. Like, it is and it isn't. You know what I mean? It's frail. It's by no means bulky. Mischievous can be bulky with the Violite. Right? It's basically Flutter Mane at home. Trick Room is a huge thing. I can also do like some really cool like Pain Split sides, so I can turn things off with like Will-O-Wisp, right? She could also like set up herself and be really annoying, right? We could also do some Perish Trapping type stuff, which would be pretty cool, but mainly the biggest key factor of this was the ground immunity and another Trick Room user. Any sort of status ailment with like T-Wave, Will-O-Wisp, right? We have Taunt as well too, but you get it. Like Perish Trapping could also be really fun on this guy. Memento against somebody to like safely bring in Charizard. Insane. It's insane, but it can be pretty shiced. But yeah, that's the team, guys. That is the full squad. Let me know what you think. I am really excited to use these guys. Let me know what you guys think. Many people are rating my team on the higher end. So before you start saying, yo, this team blows, many people are rating my team on the higher end. So suck on that. Thank y'all for watching. I'm going to see y'all next weekend when we start posting games. And with that, leave a like, subscribe. I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all.